Right, back to another video. This time, water's ready. Everything's ready actually. Water, fan, no parents at home. Just kidding. We're gonna finish this tier list, hopefully. Okay, so part three. Pretty simple to knowing what I'm doing. Last time we end with a high note. We end with a normal note of Phoenix. Burning Phoenix. Now let's start with a low note, shall we? We have cast through time. Wait, what the hell is? Yeah, okay. Cast through time. This card is overrated. People say it's good, but truth to the matter is, where is it? Wait, what the hell? Am I blind? It isn't. See, it's a five blue card, action card. So it's first of all, it doesn't provide any stat. It's an action, so that's already a pretty negative thing. But the fact it costs 5 blue in like the most anti-ramp color ever, kind of weaken it a bit, which is okay. I can't argue with that. But this ability reset the stat of all fighters and end the turn. See, if it only said reset the stat of all fighters, this could be amazing. You reuse it on your reuse it, and then you can trade with their opponent. Like if they have a really strong board, but that board is strong because of buffs, you use this, reset, and then you trade with your fighters. But because it end your turn, it gives your opponent a turn to like do something about it. You can just rebuff their fighter to play even bigger guys because you just end your turn. So you can play another big guys or they just kill your guys. Because reset style fire also reset yours, which is I guess is blue. Blue have like a lot of buffs, so this is actually a more positive note for blue. So like sure, but the fact that it's reset like the enemies, they could also trade you. Blue trade bad with most color. Blue doesn't have a lot of big fires by themselves. Their big fires usually require a splash like Rares, like something like where is he? Like famous destruction and Olaris. Those fire usually require another color to be put in a blue deck, and this is 5 blue, so it's not even that cheap. Like it's a good win more. That is an amazing win more because after trading and then your opponent have like nothing, which is one fire left, and you have like 1 2 3 weak fires. You play this and then bam, everything just yay. But truth to be told, it's blue. It's in the wrong color. If it was a red, which is color pie break, but if it was a red, it would be amazing. But because it isn't, it's okay. Like people do use it time to times, but I don't think it's that good of a card anyway. So yeah. Also, Braxton go up of 8, and then just kidding. Okay, next Cat Eye Nexus. Cat Eye Nexus is a decent card. It's a 5 white, 5 yellow, 1 1. So it have a beefy stat. It gives you a Cat Eye Corpse Stealer, and your opponent loses color stat, and you gain color. So it's basically a 4 white, 5 yellow, right? Kinda is. And also make your opponent lose 1 white stud, which is good. The Corpse Stealer is a very solid card. The only problem about this card is that it's white heavy still, but I have a decent stat and isn't an archetype that is actually a pretty above average archetype. So there's nothing to complain about. It's viable. It's not like well balanced. Actually, it is. So well, I'm gonna put it there. Yeah, I'm gonna put it here. It's viable, but it's probably not a good card. It's okay. Wow, we still haven't found a S tier card yet. Okay, next. Potential good card here. Dr. Weasel is a 5 white, 1 of every other color except purple. 1/6, 400, archetype none. So Cat Saint have an ability of whenever your opponent casts a fighter, that fighter loses archetype. That fighter affect all unarchetype cards thereafter. So what this basically means is a bit confusing if you don't understand what it is. Is that when you cast this card, any of like archetyped fighters your opponent ever gonna play in the next few turns will become unarchetyped in a way that, for example, Doge. Yeah, I just took. For example, Captain Doge. So when your opponent casts this card, it have Doge synergy. So then it's all Doge gain 200 power, right? Okay, that's fine. Nothing bad happened there. And then Kajin Siberi will make Cat Saint will make this loses the Doge archetype. Note that Cat Saint effect will always go after, like, always trigger after the casted card effects, which is the biggest downside of that card. The biggest downside of Cat Saint is that your opponent, most archetype have a on cast effect. Some don't, but some do. Basically, the Cat Saint not only counter over specific amount of cards, but the cards it counters also require another specific amount of like cards. So it's not like the best effect in the world. It's okay. It's sometimes ruin your opponent's plan. But the thing about Cat Saint is that he actually have very good stat. Five white is a bit expensive, sure, but then one of each color, if you play in rainbow correctly, is very much like a throwaway cost. Like it's very cheap. And then for that price, you have a white gen to pay back the 5 white for you, which is very nice, and a beefy 16400, 1600 and 400 power, which is nice. That's the part of Cat Saint that I think is most valuable. He have good stats. So all that being said, his ability is not even that good, but he's a viable card. Like he's actually a very good card. Oh wait, no, he actually a very good like vanilla card. And you use him as vanilla most of the time anyway. So yeah. So because of that, I will put him in a good. He's viable. He's probably more viable than this, but actually less viable. Yeah. Wait, no, this thing should go up here. Yeah, this is yeah. I give him a B plus. He's fine. He's a good card. Next, we got Cell Block Tango. This is a recent reward card. So let's look at her slash him his stats. Or is it? It's a 5 green, which is cheap. 4 green, 5 green is okay, it's cheap. 100 health, 600 power. So cost to stat ratio, even for green, is a bit bad. It's a bit meh. And during your end step, all ally fighter gain 150 health. 2 shot of Cell Box Tango is amazing. 1 shot of it is okay. It's not the best card in the world. It's a very recent reward card. And if we could make it live for multiple turns, it would just take over games. As long as you have other fighters to support it, of course. And if you don't, then well, it's a bit of threat. It ate up one of your opponent's fighters' attack or one of your opponent's action card to remove this. For 5 green, that's something that green like do really like. So just spending your opponent's cards on a things that well, it's not exactly strong, but will be annoying if left alive, which is a good thing. And this technically have 250 health, so it could trade into something, I don't know. And 600 power is good. I mean, Cell Block was a solid card, but it's probably not like viable. It's probably not like good cards, well balanced. I put it like a viable card. It's probably less viable than Bro Rubik, but it's probably more viable than Phoenix. So yeah. Next, this card says Chosen Coast, 2 white, 4 red, 1/1, 1000, 1000. Effect contrast from this card. This card can't counter attack. When this card is shown another, it gains 100 health. Now, to note, Chosen Coast used to be a very good card. Actually, he used to be an amazing card. To be honest, he costs He costs exactly the same, right? Yeah, he costs exactly the same, and it's a 1,200, 500 vanilla. He was very good back then. I won't say he's overpowered, but people just hate it. So, and then they just reworked the Kai, and now he's just shit. He's a win more card. He's in the right color for win more, because red is actually pretty easy to get win more. But then again, he's not the best. You could slot another card instead of him into your deck, like Blazer C, which is a way better option for like a vanilla-ish, high like threat fighter. Blazer C is way better. Chosen Coast is the fact it's counter or be transformed just make it so bad. Like, sure it's heals on kill, but that's 100 health. It's more like you take 100 damage less from combat when it's anything. and even then, it's still not even that great of a card. Eh, he's not that good. Like he's sad. He's bad. He's not okay. He's probably a bad card, but compared to what we have in bad in C tier, he's probably better in all of them. So if top C tier, you could have that. I don't know how sure you just like rework chosen. How you buff chosen cosmic actually good. Make it a 1,500, 1,500, maybe a bit overkill, because then even if the con counter is still like a very big card anyway. 1,000, 1,000 is a bit too little for a card like this. It's a win more. Take that in. It's a win more, but not a good one in any sense. It's fine. I mean, I don't know. I personally don't know how to buff it. Probably just reduce its colors cost. Colors cost to like 1, and then I don't know. Let's just rework the damn thing again, or make it heal for 200. Like make it heal for like a lot more on kill. Maybe be pretty good. It's not like it's bad, but it just needs buff. So yeah, it's on the top C tier. Alright, next, same color, right? Okay, Chief Justice. This is an amazing card, a hidden gem actually. It's a 3 white, 6 red, 1,000 HP, 400 level 1. Whenever you cast a common fire, you do 200 damage level hits card. So every other level will be the same thing. Will be whenever you cast a common fighter, do the exact same thing, level up. Whenever you cast an uncommon at level 2, a rare at level 3, and an epic at level 4, he will keep doing the same thing. And then when you cast a legendary, he will also still do 300 damage to a target fighter, and then he reaches his true form, which is probably the most destructive card ever created in this game. Where is it? I mean, it's hard to pull off, but it's insanely hard. The fact that he have 1,000 health very help him, because he will survive a lot easier than. Wait, I'm pretty sure he's in epic. No, yeah, tycoon. Yeah. See. Yeah. See. 300. So its max level affects con damage or destroys card. That's good resistance. During your next time, gain 1,200 health and power. If your opponent controls at least one fighter, they loses all of their color stud. Basically, if you get this guy to level max, you kind of win the game. What your opponent gonna do about it? If they set the stat of Chief Justice, which is they might if they are playing blue, they still have to trade into Chief Justice to be able to kill him. And the fact they have no colorless stats just more ensure that that probably won't happen. And even if they set him to like a 5-5, a 500 fighter, and then weaken him, he will just, when you end your turn, you will just gain another 1,200 health and power. It's very hard to kill him, and he can be destroyed and can be damaged with, which is bypasses lobster and cards like Razutix and Script, which is some of the most annoying thing that affects these type of big stat cards. He's a solid card. He has protection by himself, which is the bread, the 300 damage bread, which is good. He's actually a very good card, and I think he's well balanced. For red, a color of multiple rarities, I like him. I think he's probably less viable than Blazer C, but he's good. Blower just saying here, it's sad. Okay, yeah, he's a good card. Nothing else to say about him. He's a fun card too as well. Extra point for fun value. Next, we have Cobalt Obscurity. It's an 8 white, 1,200, 1,200. This card can't counter attack, and when it's that you gain 3 million Dragon Force. Give yourself discard true form. Discard true form is it's basically the same thing, but like, it can win you the game. Cobalt. So this card can't counter attack. When it's card, you have 40 million Dragon Force. Ban your opponent, basically win you the game. Now, is this card good? Not necessary. You usually don't win with Cobalt Obscurity. Like when you do it, like, okay, it's fine. But usually with Cobalt, like with this type of card, with the Neo Dragon archetype, you win by just having so much stud that you start casting overpowered things, which is amazing. And this card just like it's not even that good of a card. Like in its archetype, it's actually very outclassed by other options, aka none, but other option, like the option isn't in its own archetype. This is actually a very unnecessary card, and a 1/2/1/2 may looks good. That Chen White may looks good, but then again, it can't counter attack, which really just halves its power down to like a 6/6. Not like that, but you judge. I mean, now with all that said, it's a bad card. Yeah, it's worse than even Rack Jumper. Well, I mean, it's okay. Okay, fine, let's go up here. I don't think it needs buff because nobody like winning game card get buff, but it's really not that good. It's a bad card, but I can't really get myself to put it in C. So we'll be staying there. Next we have a very trash card right here. You know, well, it's not to that level, but it's kind of weak. Coder Quarry, 4 white, 3 yellow stud, 850 HP, 100 power, stealth. So right off the bat, it have very bad stat, very poor stat for its cost. Now let's look at ability. Whenever you cast a fighter is cast, aka your enemies and yours, unlock it, set its stat to 0, aka its health and power to 0. At the end of the next time its owner in the turn. Basically, it's like an OTK card, or maybe just a haste down card. You play this and you start following up like a bunch of haste, high powered haste, and then you start like you hopefully you win the game that turn. Because if you don't, then those fighters ain't gonna stay to like keep combating. No, they're gonna die. Most of them will die. Some like set of you may live, which is like very little amount. The only thing that came in my head just Clone Trooper and 1237. So this ability is not even that good, and the fact it also like affect your opponent really shit. Your opponent could also do the same thing to you, but they could kill Coder Quarry. Quarry 100 power ain't gonna counter that much, and they don't lose that much attacking Quarry. At 850 HP may survive a lot, but then again, that's go for anything that have high health but low power. He's just not a good card. That just doesn't matter. You can't really use him. You can't really build around him because he's an epic card, which is a very low chance of getting drawn into. And even you do get drawn to him, it's just not a good idea to build on. He's not trash. He's just very bad. So he needs a buff, basically. Next, this is a good card. It's a bit underrated. I mean, not underrated. People love its card. It's Combined Garrison. It's a 6 yellow, 2/2. When it starts cast, summon a 4-unit copy of it without this effect. So anyone who haven't been here yet, it used to be summon 4-unit copies of it, and they still have the effect. So it's kind of overpowered that they just use cards like what call, like very cheap AOE return card like Pancake Break right here, and just spam, and you get all of them back into your hand, and then you have like what, 5 walls prepared to be played for 6 yellow each. If your opponent have something like Witch Knight, this will be a horrible card because it would just feed Witch Knight, and then Witch Knight would just clear them all. Yes, Witch Knight will lose 50 HP for each trade instead of like gaining some, but it's kind of bad. And you have Kurosaki, and this card is okay, still can stall. And this is what it is. It's a stall card or a AOE buff card. You play this and you fall with like DIY headphones or things like that. It makes things stronger. But it's not like really like amazing at that. And it do put you into wipe range of cards like Boba Man and MZH easier, which is one of the bit of a downside. But it's mostly a fine card. The troops are inert, so that's kind of like a pretty big downside. But it's a good card overall. It's a gem, and especially in the right color. Color yellow really do appreciate card that summon more cards. So it's a viable card. It's not good. I mean, it's a yeah. I'll put him here. Well, not as good. Oh, it's probably better than Chief Justice, but probably not as good as Bleeder. See, yeah, it's a good card. I like it a lot. And then next, Crown Goes Wild. 1 white, 2 red. Very cheap, actually. Let's see what to do. Cast. Only if you ever cast a fighter onto a full board this game, deal 700 damage to all fire enemy fighters. So unlike the piece of trash known as Quan Umber Hollow, what he named. Unlike the piece of trash that shouldn't exist, known as Quan Umber Hollow, the Crown Pleaser, the Crown Goes Wild actually a very good card. Because it doesn't like limit you to gladiators and shit. No, it lets you use all the things that could help you to reach that 8 fighter threshold. It lets you use 4 fleeing survivor, 4 4 Titan Stones, 4 of the amazing Thrill Spectators. And then when you reach 8 fires, did give you a one-sided 700 damage board wipe. Amazing card. This card is an absolute good card. It's an absolute amazing card, but it's not S tier. It's amazing. It's probably up here. Like when they finally nerf CF, which close. This card will probably be here, but they haven't nerfed CF to that point yet. So, man, just take the top of A tier. Good card. Next, we have Cup of Tea. 5 white, shuffle the card back to your deck. Now, you might be sitting here and see, what the fuck, this card's useless. Oh, yeah, it is most of the time. But then it's an anti-fatigue card. So, you can use this in stall deck / dust deck. Is it that good though? Let's see. Dust color are usually green and blue. And what do they have in there? They have Mimerdon, aka the same thing, aka this guy. Mimerion, or I don't know. Yeah. This also near you, same thing. 5 green, obliterate one of your green card. That's good. That's fine. Obliterate green card for infinite stalling is good, and it's okay. It's fair. And they have Black Symphony, literally do the same thing. So dust color or don't need that, and the other 2 colors you just go for the kill to face or just die because of dust anyway. They can't really dust well. You used to be able to run this in red dust, but due to nerf and shit to like cross over, like indirect nerf to a disaster, that terrain card, this kind of weakened. I mean, it's very not that good now. It's a 5 white, which is a huge investment for such a shitty card. And with that being said, it's bad. It needs buff. Oh, what the hell? Okay, thank God, it's still saved my progress. It needs buff. Like, it really do desperate for something. Good way, just make it less white, like 3 or 4 white. I think 3 white it will be fine. But it's 4 white, and it should also do like draw a card or target fighter gain health or something. It's really not that good in this meta right now. Yeah, I mean, there's some cases for it, but even then, it's not D tier, but it's a bad card. Next, from a bad card, we have a very good card actually. We have where is it? Dear the poop head Tick Scott. We have Tick Scott. 3 white, 6 wait, what? Wow, 7 yellow. Oh shit. Oh, never mind. 1000 HP, 600 power, pretty poor stats. But when it attacks and destroy another, summon to 550 and 100 Lords of Greed. Lord of Greed is a legendary card that do the following: 2 white, castle. You don't need to worry about a casting. You have haste. Because it's summoned from Tick Scott, it does the haste doesn't work, and it can't destroy another, draw a card. So basically, Tick Scott will give you A, more cards to buff, and B, more cards to draw, which is all you could really ask for a late game yellow good finisher. And it's really not that bad of a card. I mean, it's a bit expensive, sure, but this is yellow we're talking about. They reach high number of icons really early. And with that said, he's a viable card. He's very A tier. Yeah, it's probably more or less useful than yeah. Good card. Next we have an exclusive card. Actually, not exclusive, but it's a code card. Black in the Sky. 6 blue action card. Shuffle 4 matriarch birds into your deck. Draw 2 cards. You gain 1000 life. But birds are like a very cool archetype. They're a very exclusive archetype, at least. Now birds they will shuffle 4 of these, right? They won't shuffle this. If they shuffle this, and well, it's gonna be useless because you can't even get a requirement to do so. So immune to effect a low card, we got draw a card. Notice have this. When this card is cast, draw a card. Haste 2/2. This coming counter attack or charge cast increase the power of all birds by 100. Draw a card. And the final is 250 to one card cast ready all birds. So all 4 of these cards are free cards. So that's actually good, and they all like free fighters, and they also draw when they cast, so they replaces themselves. and a lot of them have very good resistance. So they could be annoying sometimes. So this is a good card, right? Yeah, it is, and you gain 1,000 life, which is cool bonus. That helps. And you draw two cards. You already draw two cards to start off like that. You're 2 steps closer to getting those birds into your hand. You feel like you're gonna build a bird deck soon with this thing anytime soon, but this is a good way to have little things in there. It's a good card. It's viable. I could see this being used in blue decks, but just not to like degree of something. It's probably here. It's very better, worse in Actress Arena, and but better than building two games. Yeah, it's. I need to go and do something real quick. Right, I'm back. So next we have David Critchbatch. Hopefully that's how his name is spelled. 2 white, 8 red, epic card. 2/2. When it starts cast, can't be countered. When it starts cast, transform all ally fire into a copy of this card. A fight can't transform this card. So stats to cost ratio is fucking horrible. This is arguably the card with the worst stats to cost ratio in the game. 2 white, 8 red for 2/2. That can't be countered and it can't be transformed. Great. Such a main stat. So what do you use this for? Well, kind of obvious. You use it on a bunch of cards that have high power, and you either use it on cards that have downsides or just good cards overall. You use it on things like Dignity, Nerf Mooder, Player, not Player, Nerf Mooder, Dignity. I could see a case as being for where is he? The Lezus you get from Michael P. You can also use it on things like Ultoroids, because it's just 1,700. Don't use it on things like Death Defying Demon though, because you'll lose the 7 charms of stall, which is kind of a big deal. You also use it on yeah, you only gonna use this card in mono red, and because it's 8 reds, a bit too much. Muto, yeah, Muto also a good target for this card because you do have a very big downside. Using it on crazy now kind of useless. Yeah, Chaotic Calm also a very good target for him. So there's a lot of cards in red you could combine this with, and when you do, you have a very big field. There are also you have a very big field that's very hard to remove now. Unless you have a wipe, you have damage action cards, or wipe. You kind of lose the game if you like you cast this thing with a decent enough field. There's also a cool thing you could do that kind of not seen much is that when you have like let's go like have some fighters in your field, and they guys have some fighters on the field, and if the next fighter you cast is equal to the amount that if the next fighter you cast can trigger Skara, the dragon camper, when it's gonna cast, if you control as many fighters you run double power of all fighters. This is not a good card by itself. It's actually a horrible card by itself. No, not horrible. It's a bad card by itself. But then if you play this, it double power all fighters, right? Cool. Also double your guys' power, and most red card already have high power by themselves. Now double it up, they will they will one shot most card, and because of Crit Bash, they can't be countered. So the downside of Skara is nearly removed, because your guys won't even take damage unless they don't kill the guy they're combating with. So that's a niche little combo you could do. Shout out to Artie for teaching me that. It's a hard combo to be pulled off, but it's a good combo when it's pulled off. So David Cruiser is a cool card. You have Archetype Survivor, which is a bit of value there. So he's a good like finisher for red. He's not a finisher. He's like a very good support card for red. I would say he's a good card. He's well balanced. It's just a bit oppressive to be deal with, but then again, those red cards are. He's very good bulk combat garrison. He's a good card. Next we got Deaf Man. What is his name? Deaf a Man 2/1/1. It's a 4 red, 2 yellow card, 800, 400 card. Static cost ratio is fine. It doesn't cost any white, so that's a huge bonus for it. And one card attack, a target fighter generate 3 times. Thrice is 3 times. This is a good card. It's an underrated gem. It do what it's supposed to do. It's a just solid card that give you ramp for red. It's kind of hilarious, but it also costs yellow, so maybe it's not. So with that being said, there's nothing much to say about it card. There's some application you use it, like use it to Gen 3 red, and then or maybe Gen 3 yellow. Like you're missing some card, some stud away from getting the almighty Lord, the almighty Hollow Sinister Patriarch. You could use Deathman to get a bit of ramp, and then discard a few more cards, and bam, you got that guy. That guy's pretty good. You pull it off. So he's a viable card. I will argue he's more viable than he's not viable. Yeah, he's here. He's a good enough card. Actually, the default here. Right? That's his name. Defaultio. 4 white, 2 green, 1,200, 400. A deck can only run one primordial developer, so that's the primordial developer archetype. One card deals 7 damage to all green fighters. Yes, now you look at this card, you're like, wow, this card's shit. Well, kinda is, but out of all the colors that have primordial developer, this is probably the worst one. Due to the fact that you can't really like, why would you ever run this in a green deck? I can see why you run it in other decks, especially red, but why would you run it in green deck? Green decks relies on cards, and by bombing your own board, you're basically losing cards. Blue, you can gain them back. Yellow can also gain them back, and red have an amazing application with their primordial developers. But green just doesn't have a reason to do it, you know. Unless your mirror matches cards nearly useless and you shouldn't run it in green decks. And you try to splash like double colors, like dual colors, or three color. This card is fine. It's an okay card. It's very worse than it's very better than Cobalt, but it's very worse than Cast 2 times. So yeah, default will go there. Next, it was sad. Yeah, it's a bit. Dennis, where is he? The 3 white, 2 yellow, 1,200, 200 damage. During combat, the assign damage to fighters. You know what I'm. So basically, this card power is nearly non-existent. You can't use this card to damage your opponent's face. That just won't. It won't do anything. It's just lock itself for 1 turn and trigger its ability. So look at this. It's basically do half damage. So the higher the health, the better Dennis get. Right? If you use him to attack things like Ultimate the Rogue Griffon, he do 600 damage. Note that he will never kill the actual fighter. You have to use something else to train to that, and that's a big downside. He's 3 white, so he's a bit expensive for what he do, but he's tanky and 200 power. I don't know where you use it, but he's fine. He's an okay card. He's not the best card in the world. He's probably better than Cobalt Security, but very like probably better than default heal, but probably worse than cast through time. So I'm gonna put him here. This is an okay card. Oh my lord. Oh, there's so much more. Okay, next. Desperate Alliance. 4 white, 4 blue, 4 yellow. Choose 2. Destroy all fighter with 500 or less health. Summon 8/8 survivor and log all ally for 4 turns. All ally fighter gain 400 health. Destroy 2 cards in your hand, then draw 2 cards. That's kind of a good card. It's a decent card. I recommend you to always get the all ally fighter gain 400 health if possible, because that's just amazing. And then the rest is kind of meh effects, but there's an application for them. The fact that this card's a bit expensive, kind of drag it down, because it really doesn't need to be this expensive. It should be a 3/3 of each color, like of each color of its card, and it will be fine. But then 4/4 is a bit overkill. The show fighter less health is a good effect, but the ultimate combo I see with this is that you use the all ally fighter gain 400 health, then you use the first effect. Then it will be amazing, very good. And then, or you could use an all fighter gain 400 health, and then use a summon an 8/8 survivor thing, and lock all your guys for 4 turns, and use a fall card like Bread Factory. Bread Factory unlock a fighter or a turtle rig, which will set all fighter lock to 1 of your ally fighter lock to 1, which is good. But then again, this card is okay. It's almost like a must pick in its color, but the fact is compared to other cards, it's not the best card in the world. It's a good card. Don't get it wrong. I'll I'll put this in like the top of B plus. It's probably more viable than you know, Cat Eyes, but it's okay. Next, we have a potential S tier. Where is it? Dicey Dave. One white, four blue, four yellow. 400 power, 400 health. One card cast, destroy your hand, draw 3 cards. Looking at this card, you might think, it's a bit situational, right? It isn't. You can use this card in your hand as shit. Like, if you really want to, you can use this card to in your hand as shit and gammo your 3 card that you draw. Or you could use it more obvious application of try to empty your hand and then play this. In a match, when in a high level match, this card is basically the death or live of a yellow player. If 2 players are fighting each other, they will usually get down to. It's basically to come down to understanding that in the high level of this game, people are usually fighting each other to a point where they only have like 3 or 2 cards in hand, and then one player will empty their hand, and then the usual the guy who emptied their hand first, and then get good trades will usually be the guy who win. But if they get counter back, like the other guy have some very good answer in their hand, the guy will usually lose. Dicey Dave negate that. Dicey Dave that card that when you're low on cards, lower the cards than your opponent, and you empty your hand, and your opponent have like a wipe in hand. They're like, haha, I gotta win. And then you end your turn, your guy generates, and then your opponent play a wipe, and they play like 2 of their good fighters, or maybe 1 of their, and you play Dicey Dave, and then they're like, fuck. Now you got a 4-4 in the field, which is not the worst side in the world. It's okay. It's bad, but it's okay. For cost to ratio, I don't care. It's very bad, but 4-4 is still 4-4. And you got 3 more cards, and you get more steam. Basically, it's an amazing card. There's no way I could like really describe how amazing this card is. It's just a really solid, good yellow card. The short hand is a bit of a problem, sure, but the fact you draw 3 cards, mate, that's card draw. This is a good card. Should I put it in S tier though? I think that I'm overrating it a bit. I will put it on this. Yeah, it's a good card, it's well balanced. Next though, in the next, we're going from an amazing card, like almost a must pick in yellow decks. Even like control yellow deck will actually use this thing sometimes. It's a very bad card. Like, come on, Dicey Dave. 2 white, 4 blue, pretty expensive. I mean, costs 1 more white than it there in his brother, and he has the same stat, which is cost to stat ratio is just useless. Useless, bad. He have literally no survivability, and he do an okay damage back. When your opponent casts a fire, it loses 200 power. I might need to explain how bad this card is. Your opponent can bread it, and then they play their fighter. Your opponent can just play fighters normally, because losing 200 power is a downside, sure, but it's not like an end all be all. And if you're half buff, unless you half buff this card, he would just be he's just slow. If he costs 1 less blue, then yeah, he would be a lot better actually. You could play him turn 2 and start taking over the games that way. But he got 4 blue. When you reach 4 blue, your opponent usually have some fight from field to retaliate to this. And because of that, he's a bad card. He kind of needs buff. He's better than these, but not much. Very tempted to do that. Okay, fine. Next, we got Dice Off. Dice Off is a okay card. He's a bit expensive. 3 white, 3 red, 5/5. That's a pretty expensive cost stat. Actually, he has a very horrible cost to stat ratio. But whenever this card destroys another, even when he's counter attacking, and he destroys the other he's attack, you get a red legendary card. It's an okay payoff. He's kind of clearly outclassed by the Horsehair Daddy. Because first of all, this thing's cheaper and it's easier to trigger a lot of time. But Ice is an okay card. I don't think he's that good anymore. He used to be amazing, sure, but now He was a health buff for fun times, yeah, but red have no health buffs, so you have to splash. And if any cards that require splash to be good, probably isn't good by itself on its own. So yeah, I'll put him above Braxton, above this, above All Duck, above Banhammer, and yeah, he's an okay card. There's no need to buff. I mean, I would like to see a buff for him, but he's okay. Alright, so technically, this card used to be a very amazing card, but then after so many cards that he's added into games, it's kind of falling down. 2 white, 3 red, vanilla, 8/5. Me have good stats. There's just nothing to say about him. He's good stats. He's an okay card. He's actually a viable card. I see people use him, and I still use him personally. These things, he haven't fallen down that hard yet, but he's probably here. He's not the best card in the world. Just saying. Next we have Doneyes. 1 white, 6 red, 700 health and 700 power. Whenever you cast a fighter, they lose a color stat, you gain 4 stat. This effect can cause negative stats. So, first of all, cost to stat ratio is okay. There's a way you can reach 6 red, and that 1 white is there to blockade you from existing. The 1 red though, which is so fucking innocent. I wish I wanted to get removed so bad. This effect is good. Making your opponent lose that 1 consistent 1 white is really annoying, and then you gain 4 green stats. The 4 green stats could be used to like troll combos, like funny combos, like you play Imagine Zone in mono red deck, and then you rely on this to get 8 green. 4 green stats can be game changing a lot of time, but it is a funny effect. He's okay. He's viable, sure, but to what degree though? Probably better than building 2 games. Probably better than Black in the Sky, but probably not better than actual Serena. So he will be here. Next, you guys. This card is sad. This card used to be a good card. He's not an amazing card. He's a good card. Now, he fucking sucks. 4 white, 3 red, 3 yellow, 700 health, 200 power. Weak stat. Just weak. Probably better than Coder Quarty, but just weak overall. When this card is cast, if your opponent controls 4 fighters, summon 7 450 noobs, end the turn. You used to be, when this card is like, when you're playing 2 fighters, it was reasonable. It was a good card. Use him, and then you AoE buff him later, which is a good card. Now, you're going to control 4 fighters. You know what they can do with that 4 fighters? Well, they could either play another fighters and then kill your noobs off, so prevent you from AoE buffing, or you can cast a wipe card like Boba Man or MCH 3000, which is a very common card to see in this meta anyway, and just fucking delete this card. When it could add 2 fighters, it was reasonable because a 2 fighters you could actually use this, and even if you get wipe, it's okay. It's not like the end of the world. Your opponent have that much tempo on the field because they only have 2 fighters at that point, and adding another one to mix it just more easy to deal with. But no, but like you could still like live with that. Now they already have like 4 fighters on the field. They have a massive tempo already, and then they cast another 5, and then 5 fighters. 5 fighters should Bobo Man range, sure, but you just spent 4 whites. This score is just sad. Just don't use this score ever, man. It's bad. This is not even that good of a stall card. I mean, it's okay as a stall card. Maybe it's not like horrible, but it's definitely not good. I would argue it's better than Coder Quarty and Teacup. Coder Quarty is worse than Teacup anyway, but definitely not better than Rack Jumper. Each up going there. Sad card. Next, Enriched Nutrition. This card is okay. 3 green, cheap, 800 to 100 power. Whatever you discard your second card each turn, give yourself green epic card. Just a solid card, like almost an auto included most green deck. Oh, most green target deck. I mean, what else do you want? It's a viable card. It's probably better than most of these. Probably not better than, well, yeah, it's around the same year. Probably better than these. Well, I think I'm underrating this card, so I'm gonna just put him up above a bit. Yeah, Yeah, there we go. Yeah, good. He's an okay card. He's viable. There's really not like any else you can say about him. Maybe so. Okay, next we have our next gladiator on the chopping block. Epic Duck. 2 white, 3 blue, 3 yellow, 1000 health, 500 power. Same gladiator treatment. Whenever you cast a fighter with total stat of 500 or less, set the stat of a target fighter to 5/5. Search for it for a gladiator. This card, I would argue, is probably one of the worst gladiator. Not because it's not worth building. If you can build around this card, it would be amazing. Thing is, can you? No, you can't, because you have to run one copy of each card, and the amount pecan in this game is just like really little. I mean, not really little. It's not worth building around, man. I mean, it's worth, but it's hard. Same thing with all the other build around glider, especially Geomancer. It's just not it's just inconsistent as fuck. And because of that, I put him. It's an okay card because Braxton very worse, very better than Cobalt Obscurity, but worse than Defaulto. It's okay. Next, we have an annoying card right here. Epic Sauce, 3 red. A target fighter gains 600 power. Transform it into sauceful zeal ball. Sauce-filled zeal ball. Oh, epic sauce. So the sauce-filled zeal ball is a effect contrast from this card. Whenever this card destroys another, deal 200 damage to itself, and then you lose 600 life. There's a few applications. One, you use this as a normal card, like you target your own fighters and then use it as a stat card. You will lose a lot of life, sure, but then again, 600 power. I mean, that could just finish your opponent off a lot of time. You use it on cards or like big downside cards, like where is it? Zeda Pidono. Where is he? Yeah, there he is. He's a big card, but he can't attack. Now I transform him. Bam! He can attack now with like even bigger stats. Amazing. Or you can use it in a more funny way of transforming one of your opponent's fighter, and then sacrifice your fighter into that fighter specifically, and then you burn your opponent to death, which is also an annoying way to use this card. It's a good card. It's probably a 8. It's really a good card. It's not well balanced, but it's a good card. So because of that, I'll put him. It's probably better than this. It's not well balanced. I should remove this. It's not. Yeah, I should remove this tag right here. Good cards. Like I just put a good cards. Man, it's not well balanced. It's probably like it needs somewhat of a nerf, but it's not here and it's not here. So what it is? Where it is? Oh, it's here. Yeah, it's here. Wait, what? Yep. Okay. Next, we got. Oh my god. Got XL TV. Where's XTAL IT. 7 yellow action card. All ally fighters gain 200 health and power. Return them to your hand. Summon 1,200 400 fighter. This is a good card. It's not underrated because people do use it a lot, but it does not see as much play as it should be. It's a good card. It gives you a bit of stats, and the 200 health and power from like all the return allies is very good. Wait, this card, there's something else to say about it. You could recast your fighters. It's not that much of a lose in tempo because the amount of tempo you lost will be paid back somewhat by that 1,200 health, 400 power fighter. So with that, I think it's a viable card. It's a high viable card. It's probably better than worse than this, but yeah, I'll put it here. It's a B plus card. Very good. Now we have the two of my favorite card, Fabulous. The Fabulous Cycle. First, let's start with the good one. I mean, they both good. Fabulous Bench. 2 white, 5 blue, 800, 600, haste. Cast only could have a hamster mon in play. During your end step, all enemy fighter loses 100 power. Hamster mon is a 2 white, 3 blue 750, 350. When it scores cast, all mini fighters lose 100 power. So, what makes Fabulous Bench such a good card? First of all, his requirement is not that bad. Hamstermon is a good card by itself, which is amazing, and they have a high survivability, so the chance of it's like still existing when you have Fabulous Bench in hand is okay high, which is good. And when you cast Fabulous Bench, he's something your opponent must deal with. They would just get like bred by losing power every turn, and that's very annoying. And when they try to contest him, first of all, they contest him with lower power fighters. And second of all, his stat is good enough for him to survive a few punches. 800 of is okay, and 800 of is okay for a card like this. And 600 power just like it's just good amount of power, man. It's even if you die, will also left a few punches back, and sometimes kill something here and there. Okay, guys, this card is amazing. It's amazing what it do, and the fact that it's just like a threat your opponent must deal with. It's just a really good card, and the fact you have haste, just make it better, man. The haste is like the cherry on top. I'll put him. He's an A tier card. He's far better than all of these. Not better than this necessary. So yeah, I'll put him A tier. Actually, yeah, he's not really better than Crown Ghost Swag. That card is still overpowered as fuck. Okay, next, and then we have his brother, her brother, Fabulous Mataton. 2 white, 5 red, 1200 HP, 600 power, haste. Cast. And we have Keneally Dog in play during the instant deal 100 damage to all enemy fighter. So this guy got like a budget stalker, but like a good budget stalker, good for sure. Now the thing is, it's a very undervalued card. It's not like if you look at two of these, I'm like, oh, they both do the same thing. Kinda. I mean, don't do the same thing, but they kind of look like the same. They should be as good as each other, right? Well, the thing it relies on what they require to be played, to be in play for it to be summoned. Hamstermon, the good card by itself. It lives well. The fact it loses 100 power to all enemy fighter make it survive even better. Keneally Dog, on the other hand, the 2 whites, 3 reds, same stat, but its damages 100 damage is really not that much. And the fact it doesn't depower the enemy just make it less be able to survive. That's why Fabulous Mataton have more health than Fabulous Bench, because Mataton ability and requirement is a bit harder to be pulled off. Like the ability of Mataton is arguably worse than Fabulous Bench. I think they're kind of the same, because continuous red versus, I mean, well, not the same. Yeah, Fabulous Matatons very have a worse ability. So these guys are like worse than compared to these two. So that's why the payoff for Fabulous Mataton is a lot bigger stats. But this card is slapped on. People say it's bad, and it's like it's unreliable and shit. I don't think so. I do use Fabulous Mataton a lot, and I do like him. Such her. It's a good card. I mean, Keneally Dog, yeah, it's a bad card. Keneally Dog by itself is a horrible card, but you're only gonna play it when you know you get A, value, or B, you're gonna survive to play Mataton in hand. When you have Mataton in hand, or you play them both in the same turn to do 250 bread. That's good, right? Of course, he can't be as good as this guy, but I think it's a good card. I put him higher than those. Yeah, he's a good card. Use him more. He's good. Wait, what the heck? Not an epic card. Where the heck? Wait. Where the heck is he? Yeah, Tone, you go back here. You're not an epic card. Fuck you. Need a good card. Oh no, the thing is their color possession. Blue have draw, red have none. So the fact you may pull off these two, it's a bit lower, and you may pull off these two, it's a bit higher. So yeah, there's that. So next we have Fat Cat. This should be a quick one. Fat Cat's a bad card. Its cost to stat ratio is horrible. 6 white for 1,500 is just bad. And you have Defender. Yay. It's a white gen. Yay. No. Nah. It's a bad card. Needs buff. Pretty worse than, yeah, worse than him. Better than this thing. Ah, next. Friendly bargain. Okay, this card is funny. 2 yellow card, action card. Give your each player either a nightmare card or 3 random epic cards. So the best way to think about it, I use it in mill decks because you can use this. The 3 epic cards necessarily could be the colors they are playing. So this might be the closest thing to like add 3 random, add 3 rubber duck into your opponent's hand. That might be the colors your opponent's playing, and if you give a nightmare, then they have to play it. It's a good card for mill. It's not a good card for mill. It's a bad idea for mill, but it's okay for mill. But please, just don't use it. It's trash. It's a trash card. Just don't. I recommend you don't use it. It's just kind of bad. It's probably the best of these 3. I mean, yeah. No, yeah, it's better than Aqua Number Hollow. So we'll leave it there. It's a bad card. Just don't use it. This card necessarily needs a rework or like a huge buff to it. So, I think we're gonna end this episode after we do this guy. Oh my god. Okay, I can do this. Let's go. 2 white, 6 red, Fuchsia Ice Red Dragon, 600 health and power. Cost to stat ratio is horrible. Like this stat to cost ratio is just bad. It's not even that good. I want to score fighter of a target fighter gain 200 health and deal 200 damage to all fighter. If it doesn't target itself, then it's even worse. It's a 400, 600, and if it targets itself, then it's a 6/6, which is not even that good. And 200 bread isn't like 300. 300 kills a lot of things. 200 doesn't kill that much. It's not that good of a card. It's a weak design, and I don't think there's a really, like, it used to be good, but then just got nerfed to shit. It's probably I think it should cost like 5 red, and it will be good. 4 red or 5. No, 4 red is a bit too much. 4 red and maybe weaker stat like 400, 600, or 4, or like 600. Yeah, 600, 400, and then it will become a 4/4 if you doesn't target itself. At 4 red like that, I think it's an amazing card. It's a bit of a cheap white too, so I think it should cost 4 red, but for now, it's okay. It's not bad, but it's probably low. It's near here, but it's not that near. Cobalt is arguably better than it. Oh, next, GOZ Gods. 3 green, 500 health and power, immune to everything that isn't obliteration. Let's be real. There's never a reason not to use Gods. He's a good card, he's immune to everything, right? Good stat, and he's cheap. He's a 3 green. For green, that's cheap, and he's a green card with vanilla stat. He immune to everything with vanilla stat. 3 of any colors except white, and then having 500 health and power is like the base stat. This game is like an amazing stat line, good stat line. 500 trait with a lot of things, and if not, it damages them okay-ish enough to be able to finish them off with another thing. And the fact is immune to everything except for obliteration, which is only a few cards possesses. Just make him a lot better. Like, he's actually amazing of a card. He's an auto-include almost. There's never been a bad reason not to bring Gods. Like, you're playing green deck, why you shouldn't run Gods? Why would you run Gods? Unless you really need that one deck slot. He's an epic card, so there's only like he only require you one deck slot. You really needs that one deck slot. Yeah, fine. Just remove Gods. But you have that like that one slot open. God's never been a bad idea. It's always an amazing idea. There's really not to run God. Like, give me a reason not to run God unless you really needs that deck slot. He's an amazing card. He's even underrated. People use him all the fucking time, and I can see why. He's immune to really everything. Now, his stats and thing is an A tier card. It's a high A tier card, but because there's no reason not to run him, except for except for a few cases. There's no reason not to run him. If it's an auto include in like most green decks at this point, I'm gonna S tier. First ever S tier. Gods is an amazing card. Even if he dies the turn he's cast, he's not even that bad because your opponent must spend fighters on removing him. There's, unless they have obliteration, unless they use things like World Purge, he's immune to target obliteration. He's only not immune to AoE obliteration. And AoE obliteration are two. One is cards very bad, and the other is situational. So they must spend fighters. So whatever he do, he always get at least one shot of 500 damage. He can't be weakened. It can't be healed too. It can't be healed or empowered too. But what, you want him to be buffed as shit? So he will at least always do 500 damage to your opponents. Something your opponents. He could deal 500 damage to their chosen coast. They could deal 500 damage to their fat cat. He do 500 damage to something. And for if there is a card that just said 3 green do 500 damage to something, it would be a bad card. But this is a fighter. A gen. He have life. He can trade multiple times. And this is not overrated. This card is not overrated at all. It's a good card, and just it's an amazing card. Why would you not run Gods? Really? Why would you not run him? S tier. Happy S tier, man. You deserve it. Next, Gaia's Champion of Vitality. 2 white, 4 green, 1,800 health, 200 power. Static cost ratio is amazing. Low power, sure, but he's tanky as fuck, and because of his ability, well, he do actually need that tankiness. Same thing as a gladiator. When you cast a colorless fighter, give yourself a green card. Search your deck for gladiator. So the closest thing in this card is a green draw, which is amazing and broken by itself. But then again, the requirements are big. Like you have to run a lot of white cards to be able to like make Gaius a really good card. But Gaius cheap. He's fine. There's really not much I'm glitching. Robot got nerfed to shit, so Robot get nerfed, so you can't really do that anymore. But there's still a lot of white card options for you to run for like the Leovon 2. No, the Leovon 2 is the main card. Tasso is an old part of it. Sonozaki, like there's still a lot of option for you to run. It's just that it kind of makes you have to waste your deck slot for colors fighter. But then again, his payoff is not even that bad, and he have good stats to like hold himself on the field. So I will put him as a viable card. He's probably better than Braxton, which yeah, okay, fine. Braxton move up here. I will put him. Well, it's probably not as good as Donna as he is. Actually, not as good as this, but it's probably in this, and he's now it's better. Yeah. Okay. He's okay. He's not bad. Next we have very bad Glad. Where is he? Oh my gosh. Gilach, the Parasol stage. 2 white, 3 red, 3 blue. 1,600 HP, 400 power. Amazing stat. Cost to stat ratio. If you're gonna run a vanilla card, you can run this in a what do you call a Highlander red blue as a vanilla, and he would still be an amazing card. He's immune to damage, so your opponent can't break him to death. So you always trade with something unless he got the power as fuck. And the fact that he only trigger on your act when you're cast an action makes him better at it. Whenever you cast an action, they'll turn into all fighters, so your deck rider. So people usually put this guy in like a action deck, or like an Highlander action deck, which is in my opinion the biggest thing you could do, the biggest mistake you do. This card ability is just fucking horrible. Like you do 200 damage to everything, sure, but why would you ever done that? Like you're running Highlander, man. Highlander already have inconsistent enough, and then you run action with Highlander to be able to trigger this. Don't tell me that Paracellan Highlander is a good idea. It's not. It's a horrible ass idea. You can only run one Paracellan trainee, only one Moondog. Like, dude, stop. But this as a Highlander red blue card, like you just Highlander red bluing, which is not the best Highlander deck, but it's out there. This card amazing. It's a 1,600 health, 400 power, can't be damage, and it's cost very cheap for what it do, and then the fact that it's only trigger on your action make it so your opponent can't use this card against you. And sometimes when you have like 1 or 2 action in your hand, you can actually use this thing to maybe wipe, but I wouldn't recommend it. I would recommend it if it's necessary, but this card is like overlooked in the fact that people think it's an action card, but is an action oriented card. But I'd see it as a stat card for a okay Highlander deck. So that being said, he's a viable card. He's probably above. He's better than these two. Probably back in the sky and pretty much not nice. So yeah, I put him here. He's a stat card. He's not that good as an action trigger. He's not that good of an action payoff deck. Because you know, if this card wasn't a gladiator, he would be higher. His payoff when you're playing action would actually make sense, because now you can run him and a bunch of Paracellan, like four Palisarian trainee, and then you have run like 4 of the Paracelian Sage. 3 of the Paracellan Sage, and you start like engine-nize, and then you start gaining bunch. That would make good, but because it's Gladiator, his action payoff isn't that like good. So what I usually use him as a stat card, and as a stat card, is amazing at it. 1,600 health, 400 power, trade with a lot of things, a lot, and the fact he's damage immune. Amazing. He can't be bred. It's just so good, man. I like the fact he can't be damage immune. So yeah, we still only have a few cards left. Probably next episode gonna end it around another glad. So this is a tier list for now. See you guys later. Bye.